Audio check, check. Audio check, check. All right. Well, I didn't intend to start streaming to audio check, check. All right. Okay. Now, I didn't intend to start streaming glitches. Well, let's start over. I didn't intend to start streaming till 6 o'clock. Um, so you guys get to watch me piddle around and try and set the stuff up. And now you got to remember, I'm on satellite, Starlink. So occasionally it'll drop out and you'll see a spinny or a glitch. Uh, the name of the channel, error. Please use key frame frequency for 4 seconds or less. All right. I got all these chats, so you guys get to watch me suffer through this crazy stuff. I, why do I want to do it? Who knows? Um, but the name of the channel is called Raven County RAG. And to start this out, I thought I would try having a Thursday night rag chewing. That's a term from the that's a yeah, excuse me, man. That's a term from ham radio world. Have a rag chewing, get on the radio and talk about what's going on in the neighborhood, weather, any problems, a form of communication. And when you take it back any further, before the internet and all that, people had newspapers, they had pamphlets. I think there were several famous examples of pamphlets, like Poor Richard, and I believe that was Benjamin Franklin. That might not have been a pamphlet. He might have been writing to his brother's newspaper. But it's a way for people it's the freedom of speech. For me to sit here and say what I think about what's going on in my local community. And if you're a part of the local community, it gives you the opportunity to respond in a public fashion through the chats. Of course, I want to have debate. If there's a question, or I might agree with you and help you promote your idea. So that's basically what it is. Just and other people from other parts of the region can join in too, because we'll learn how to communicate with one another. Either be it sitting here and looking and talking at each other, uh, PMing, gathering information, people who have resources that you may need, people looking for particular type of skill sets, anything from a carpenter to a furrier to horseshoes to a cobbler to a bridle maker to small engine repair to auto mechanics, any kind of thing that we can do as a community to build our own selves. Now, it's just an opportunity to put people together. I'm not here selling an agenda uh, other than the agenda of a self-reliant community. We may find ways to uh, take care of each other. We don't know where our economy's going. We've got trade wars possibly with China, and that's where we get a lot of our clothes. Uh, how many people do you know right now who can fix a shirt? Or where can you buy a pair of pants? You think Wally World's shelves are going to be stocked full with jeans made in uh, Asia somewhere, China, Taiwan, Philippines, when the Panama Canal might be blocked off? How long it will take? And then they get taxed through tariffs. And I'm not here to have a debate about tariffs. I'm here to talk about how we have to look ahead and how we're going to take care of ourselves, our family, our neighbors, and our community. Those are the things we need to concentrate. And that's the way it was for the very beginning of this country. We helped each other. We created communities. We had religious communities. We had farming communities. Everybody in the community probably farmed enough to keep their food supplies open. Uh, and I wouldn't be limited if someone wanted to do a, a, a guest. If they had something passionate in their community they wanted to talk about, I probably have the resources to help them set up something so that we could have a conference. They could come here and visit to the home office. We could set up a small studio. We could talk about anything from local politics to fishing, hunting, what the cycles are, how it's going to affect the hunting, what kind of fish is biting right now, what's the future forecast call for. It depends on who gets in, makes a comment. Yeah, makes the comment, and then we decide as a group what's important to the community. Fishing trout season might be the most important thing coming up. If you're a meat fisherman and you know where there's good fish, then you could share that information or brag about what you got. That's fine too. But Rabun County Rag, that's what we're going to call this. And I don't know how successful it'll be. I'll just sit here and mumble in front of the camera and the microphone for an hour, read the newspaper until somebody pops up and wants to talk about something. And if they want to know about it and I don't know about it, then we'll get on the old Googler and try and find some information and start a discussion. That's on particulars. I'm more of an idea guy. I like to talk about ideas, possibilities. It's up to somebody else to do the naysaying and how they can or can't do it. That's not me. And 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 when we talk about the camera, for years, I've made a lot of different other kind of videos, and I've always struggled with the lighting. I've always struggled with the best camera. I want to give a pleasing view in case we have to talk about something. And next was the sound. So I've been putting all this together. And if it doesn't sound right, if there's some lag, if you think the picture's too dark, if give me some feedback, and then I'll start work because I want to be this to be a pleasing situation for you, where we come together as a community and discover what skill sets we have, and how they can be shared. All right, so I got a long way to go. I hope somebody comes. I, I'm going to do this. I've committed. Now, I've committed to Thursday evenings from 6 o'clock till 7 o'clock. If you just want to tune in and listen as a podcast, go for it. If you're tuned in and you hear something and something's really been bothering you in the community, even if you're not in the same community I'm in, listen, I've been around a lot of places. All communities have the same issue. It's how they solve them that makes the difference. Whether it's a good community or a community, you really don't want to be found in. Somebody told me today, they said, we talk about me going back and forth to Atlanta. And it might have been at the driver's license bureau. And they said, yeah, you got to be careful. You get off at the rock. It was at the barber shop. Went and got my beard done up today, looking kind of shaggy. I wanted to go a little shorter, but I think the old barber, he wanted to make fun of how funny I look. Anyway, oh boy, we're talking about you get off the wrong exit, such and such place. I said, man, if I had to go there and spend some time at a governmental agency that they're probably not that all excited to be there, and they're going to have to help me do something, I'm already mad. Them folks is going to mess with me. They're the ones going to have to be worried. You come messing with me, man. I'll throw my hand up and wave at you. But if you come off in a bad way, it's going to be bad. I'm an old man. I'm going to have to hurry up. If I got to get it done in a hurry, because I'm going to be out of breath in just a second. So it's going to be fast and violent. It has to be. Ain't no other way. Anyway, I love everybody. I don't want no trouble. Y'all excuse me. Every now and then I do have to spit. Where I'm at, where I live at now, as a child, high school, early high school, ninth grade. Back then they had courses called outdoor education. And children were encouraged to be outdoors, to learn skill sets, hiking, backpacking, cooking in the wilderness, how to find water, how to skin an animal, how to survive, make sure how to signal, most important thing. We were taught those kind of things. Now, it was voluntary, but it was definitely encouraged. And so I started to come to this portion of the Southern Appalachian as a very young man, ninth grade, whatever the age that is, and spend a few times a year up here uh, fishing for trout, uh, backpacking, hiking, exploring, uh, spelunking, rappelling, all those kind of things that kept uh, young men occupied and the young ladies chasing us because we had things to do. We had to be caught. It's kind of fun being caught. That means you're something of value. Now, I ain't been caught in a long time. The upside to that is I don't care. I got fishing, photography, backpacking, uh, watercolor paint, gardening, landscaping. I've got the opportunity now to concentrate on all the things that I took interest in during my working life. Not having to raise children, not worried about not having to make a living, but the opportunity to do that. And man, I'll never get it all done that I want to do. I know that. And I skip around. They say 10,000 hours makes you an expert. Using that rationale, I'm an expert in a lot of things. Now, it probably took me 3 decades of doing that. And I ain't bragging because I'm a master in none. But I enjoy putting ideas together from multiple realms and concept or what do they call it? Disciplines, mathematics, photography, astrophysics, all that kind of stuff. Oh, where were we? Oh, on the camera. So, man, I'd fool around with those cans, and you have to use their software. And now they've caught up, and now they're making cameras that you can use in a live stream scenario. I love Color. I, I, I just like it, and I always wanted to use them, but they were so frustrating and so expensive. And so I looked for a long time for a good webcam. Now I would cobble, fabricable, GoPro, Osmos Action, the little Osmo that's got the swiveling head on it. The action, no, that's not the action. Anyway, the drones, um, aggravating the cameras, trying to get all that, make that happen. Working when I started, it was is the computers weren't what they have now. Unbelievable. So, never saw anything in the webcam world that appealed to me. Years. And life got by, and I started seeing Osbot tail cam. Well, hell, I've got a PTZZ camera. It's not automated, but the optics and the colors, they still didn't look right. And then Osbot kept working, and they came up with the Osbot Tiny. Now, This camera, you're looking at it right now. It's mounted on top of the laptop. I think it should be positioned in a different place, but that's pretty good. And it has some capabilities. Right now, I've got it set on focus on the face. So you'll see it wobble in and out. And you can set it to global so that it just sets its focal plane and doesn't do that following and hunt. Another thing is you can turn on tracking. And there's a couple different kinds of tracking. There's one that'll just follow me like this. See, like you see it, it's wiggling around, and it kind of keeps me centered in the camera. And then it has another one. Now, if I go back, see, I just get smaller and smaller. But with the next one, it zooms in and keeps the aspect ratio the same. Pretty cool. And it's for what I get and the money I pay. I couldn't justify trying to buy another Canon camera because the Canon cameras I have, older generations, but in the digital photography world, the human eye can't detect the difference between a R8 and a D70. Now you can, if you get a bigger sensor, you can zoom in on smaller things and still maintain resolution. But doing this work right here, or doing landscape photography, it really has an effect. I'd love to have one. My daughter's got the R6, and I'm thinking, man, she's on the bottom third to maybe half the learning curve right now when you're working in light. And that's what you're doing with the camera. So I hope she stays excited about it. It's really an exercise. Time. Well, it says, let me sign into this chat. All right. Phone. Let's see it. Probably gonna send something to phone. Bing, bing. Oh, now it wants me to enter a password. And they make you change your password so often, then you end up forgetting them all together. Let me try one more. Let's try now. Okay. Nope. Yeah, it looks like I'm freezing them up. Yeah. Let's see. Try. Yeah. See if it let me in. They want you to get in there. All right. Continue. Let's see. I just put in test. Be weird if somebody pops in. I'll be like, "Who's that?" All right. Continue. Oh no, something terrible's happened. Let's see what I can do. Uh-oh. Oh man. Let's see. It says you just closed a dockable window. If you'd like to use it again, use the Docs menu on the menu bar. Okay. Docs. YouTube chat. Uh, uh, oh, boy, it's be a pain in my butt. Yeah. Oop, sorry about that. Not now. They want you to do 1,000 things. I don't want to be. YouTube control panel. Okay. Oh man. How do I close? Test two. Uh-oh. I'm glad there ain't nobody on here to see me. There it goes. Let's see. 610. Warning. Yeah. If y'all see me lag, remember, I'm on satellite and it's not great. Excuse me, that's wrong. Elon is changing the world. I expect glitches in world changing things. This is the best I've had from where I'm at. I'll leave it right there. So, I understand he is on the scale. Now I don't know what that means. Oh, it's on the scale of autism. Hell, I'm on the scale. I I don't know which end of the scale, but I'm cool. Well, now, I'm a Southern boy, born and reared, and a lot of tradition was still passed down to me. And one of them, and you younger folks, probably under 50, more like 40, won't know about this. But every New Year's, it is a custom beaten into me, driven into me throughout my childhood. Every New Year. There was one thing that we was, excuse me, there was two things we was always going to have. And if you know what it is and you're out there, put it in the comments. I'll tell you. And there's a story behind it too. I don't know how true the story is. I might have made the whole thing up. I don't know. But it helped me learn to like these two items. All right. Collard greens and black eyed peas. Now they tell me the collard greens represents that folding money. I think they just told us that to get us to eat them things. And the black eyed peas represented the change, quarters, dimes, nickels, pennies. It was a luck charm. Now, I don't know if this is true, and I'd love for someone to verify through either a Wikipedia or some kind of documentation that the tradition is wide and varied. I think that they came over probably from Africa, and like okra, and the people that we brought, the slaves, Lord help me, I didn't do it, and I don't know that I would have participated. But whatever the reason, I'm grateful that those things exist and they're available to me. And I have a taste for them, which is normally sequestered in the culture that I appreciate. I don't know what all that means either. But then, to free those sad dog people, those sad people, and there's some debate about it. However, in the end, and still struggling from time to time, the Civil War that ended slavery. It took a long time. It takes a long time. Socrates, I think, said, the wheels of bureaucracy turn slowly. Somebody fact check. And as that criminal Sherman marched through our wonderful region, burning everything in its path, taking the food from millions of people as he marched to the sea, left those people in that swath, hungry and cold. Fortunately, them Yankees didn't know nothing about the nutritional value of collard greens and black eyed peas. We did because it was animal feed. And they trampled it in the field on their way south. Probably the only thing we had to eat that winter. And then we couldn't eat it all. We needed the seed to feed ourselves the next year. So how long was the hunger of the people who lived in that swath? Slave owner or not? I don't know. Just might be the meandering thoughts of a madman. But I think that exists in the realm of possibilities. Yeah. Well, another thing, y'all are getting to hear me trying to provide a good, a good, what do you call this? A pleasing experience for y'all. And I'm listening to myself speak to make sure that I'm getting feedback and that it's sounding good, working well, since I don't have any listeners. Hey, man, y'all feel free to jump in. Shit, come on. Y'all just tell me anything. I'll believe it. I promise. I'm in the bunker, man. You know, if just somebody else was on here to see how funny I was, I need a witness, man. I think about the hard work of getting somebody just to watch and make a comment. The idea of entertaining any more than 3 kind of frightens me. You know, reminds me of getting started. You know, as a younger man, I remember spending time on the farm, out on the coast with fishermen, out in the world. And one thing I remember is all them old men getting up before daylight, stumbling around the house. Well, here I am, 4:30 every morning. Sometimes early. Might I get up? I'm ready to go. People ask me what time I get up. I say, I'm not real sure, but I have to get up and go kick the chickens. Yeah. And by 6 o'clock, buddy, I'm already got some sugar plums floating around. I'm ready to go to bed. Uh-oh. I I wonder if I'm live streaming to YouTube, can YouTube live stream to like LinkedIn and Facebook and do a breakout in a network fashion. Right now, I'm just on YouTube. I don't even know if I'm getting out. I, I don't even know if this records. I I just don't know, man. Punching all these buttons. It says public. Whoa, boy, I'm getting all kind of bit rate. We recommend an audio bit rate of 128. 128. I don't know what that means. Anybody got any idea? Where I go fix that? What are they trying to tell? Huh. Yeah, it says it's 2648.74 kilobits per second lower than recommended bit rate. We recommend that you use a string bit rate of 6,800. Now, another thing, microphones. Man, scratchy setting them up, shopping them, you buying them in a pawn shop. Can't ever get the right size, can't get the right depth. And then I pulled the trigger and bought this Fine. Watched a bunch of reviews on it and pulled the trigger and bought. And I was trying to I've got another station over here, another desk. And on that one, I have a XLR mic that goes through an audio interface. And it was such a. I still use the XLR, but I use a different mic. And because of the dynamic range, it's this mic. It sounds good to me. And I'm sure if anybody ever decides to watch, one of those critical people that know everything, that's the guy I need right now. I need that guy. I need that technical snob, the guy who can critique everything I do. Because I'm going to take everything he said and I'm going to run it through its paces, do my research, and if that old boy's got a better idea than what I plugged together, fabric hobbled, I'm going to get it from him. He can call me whatever he wants. Don't matter to me, man. Well, Mark Twain say, I might be a fool, but I'm God's fool. Him and old Teddy Roosevelt. Diametrically opposed. And both of them are two of my favorite characters in history. I don't know why. You figure it out. Well, I'm going to run it till 7 o'clock just to make a habit. Got to have a habit. Got to have it. I got some small town news. I'm not opposed to. It got all kinds of stuff. It's got the senior center. It's gives you the menu. Let's see. Wednesdays today, tomorrow, January 3rd. Sausage biscuit with gravy. Tater roundabouts. And applesauce. Now, brother, if I was a hungry man, or my children, that should be good. I got these kids nowadays that turn their nose up. Somebody cooked you a meal? You don't, and you got to eat? And that shit was warm? And you didn't have to do no dish? Man, I'm going to be talking about how good that... I'm going to be bragging. I'm going to call something. Hey, man, I got to tell you. The senior center, they got that stuff going on. Here's the favorite thing about living in a small town. They got the police blotter. I love it. I think it ought to happen everywhere. It tells you, officer responded to an address in reference to a simple assault. Deputies were dispatched to an area. I'm not going to give addresses. In reference to a single vehicle crash involving a deer. It says here, man was driving a gray 2016 Hyundai Sonata and said he saw a deer running to the road. He was unable to avoid the crash and hit the deer. That's what I'd done. I'd kept it in the road. Deers don't hurt near as bad as a tree or a cliff. The vehicle had disabling damage and was towed. This vehicle did not have a current license plate due. Driver said car had been in the shop for a while. Reminds me of a couple stories. I lived out in West Georgia. And boy, I was broke one time. I had some children. I was always working 2 or 3 jobs just to keep up with the Boy Scouts, the softball, the dance. And one night, man, I had been driving. I was a truck driver. I know I busted the log. I was out of the log. This was before electronic logs. You can get away with it if you knew how to do some math. And I'm heading home, man. It just gotten dark. It was dark, though. And I'm going westbound on this state high. And coming at me in the eastbound, he was in the westbound, but he was coming eastbound, was a horse. I stayed in my lane. If there's going to be any kind of dispute in court, I was in my lane. Anyway, didn't end well for the horse, nor did it for that little old Dodge Dakota I was driving. Insurance man said, well, I'll leave it up to you. You can either get it fixed or we'll total it. It's total. I didn't like that dang truck anyway. It was weak. I was hauling freight, man. I was driving electronic wire, boxes, conduit. Let's throw it in that son. Had this crazy guy giving me, you don't need to go here, 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 here. I, I don't care, man. Okay, I want to get home. If I leave here past 4:30, I won't get home to midnight. I'm getting this shit done. Yeah. But anyway, that was one. I thought I had another one. Anyway, we had a horse hitting. Yeah, I say like horse hitting. A horse hitting. Man, how much time I got? I got half hour. I might have got started early, but I'm gonna go to when I said. Y'all watch me amble and ramble on. Smell marijuana. You know, I'm not a prude. That old boy won't smoke a little dope. I, go on for it, buddy. I'd rather see you do that than guzzling a damn 12 pack at the bar trying to drive on. Anyway, this story is suspicious. Now, you can tell me whether you agree or not. It said deputies were driving south, observed a gray Nissan Altima in the left-hand lane, and cars had to pass on the right. Well, listen a little bit. So, this guy's going down the road. Everybody's having to pass him on the right. Deputies ran. Information tags expired. Deputies conducted a stop. While speaking with the driver and passenger, could smell the odor of marijuana coming from the vehicle. Deputies asked about the smell, and the male said he did not have any marijuana inside the vehicle. Deputies had both parties exit the car. They searched the vehicle. Inside the vehicle, deputies located a clear plastic sandwich bag with a leafy green substance suspected to be marijuana. Maybe old boy had a turkey sandwich with damn spinach on it. Oregano. Yeah, I don't know. The bag was sealed inside an evidence bag and locked in the rear seat of the police vehicle. Deputies told both parties the suspected marijuana was going to be destroyed and told them they were free to leave. Oh, okay. Nothing wrong with that, I don't think. You should have been in the right lane. If you're going to get stoned and paranoid, damn, man, stay in the right lane. Keep that much about you. He ain't talking about, man, I wonder what kind of rear end this thing got. You know, I ain't had to get hard on this motor yet. He's gonna go 100. I'm gonna make 100. I don't care who's in my way. Oh, dude on the marijuana, man, he's holding on. Hey, man. Well, we haven't picked up any listeners or watchers. I wonder how that YouTube algorithm is going to pick this up. First night bomb. Hell, people might tune in just to see that. I got some. I got more blotter. I don't know how. Get that coffee out of the way. There. Y'all excuse me. I got a darn hassle going on. All right, here we go. What we got? Let's see. Some jobs. Affordable, quick services. Can fix or repair anything residential. Boy, I thought I was a jack of all trades. He's got 23, well, doesn't say he or she. They have 23 years hands-on experience, specializing in foundation, structural, and crawl space. We also offer kitchen, bath, home remodeling, and odd jobs. That's the one I like, the odd job. You want me to do what? That's how Mike Rowe got started. Mike was trying to make it as an actor. He needed some money. Hey, clean that toilet out, I'll give you $25. Mike Rowe's like, can I video it? Mike Rowe, if you're listening, I love you, man. I think you're changing the face of the workforce. I'm with you 100%. It just came across me. Your face doing dirty job. It came to me, brother. Odd jobs. Odd jobs. Odd jobs. I done one or two of those. That old boy one time, I was a big shot. I just learned how to drive a truck, spent a couple years over the road, been in all the lower 48, seen a lot of things, done a lot of things, like crazy stuff. And first child was born. And I decided I wasn't going to be one of them daddies that wasn't ever there. Gone. I ended up me working a lot. But I was home every night, most nights. Hell, what were we talking about? Anyway, old boy hired me. He had a company. They would go into these like the Home Depots. They were closing, and they were and they were demoing the inside, all them heavy metal racks. And so the demolition contractor would try and put it out for bid. And this guy, he would buy those racks and he would refurbish them and resize them and then sell them. And he had me driving a delivery truck. I got it. I dig it. And like I said, I was a boss. I was a big boss, you know. I had some money then, I reckon. I don't. But they had a lot, in the back where they store all this orders of this. Let me. You see what's happened with the camera. Y'all give me a minute. I got them old hand signs turned on. Let's go. Medium. I think I'm back now. All right. It was a dirt lot. And if you know anything about Georgia, a lot of red clay. And it'll stack water and hold it. And his lot filled up. And it was getting close to getting in the building. It was the whole back area was that old slippery red mud. And I came in expecting to drive and go deliver something. And he says, I'm going to have to get you to help me drain that ditch in the back. I said, all right. And he comes back and he gives me a 4-inch spade. One of them long 4-inch spade. And they about 100 yards. He was talking about having to dig in a trench to dig that out. I got back there, I got wet, and I came back in. I said, let me clarify. You said help you, right? And he goes, when I say that, means you do it. And it's not that I didn't mind the work. But when he said that to me in that way, I didn't feel like I was part of a team. And so I handed him that spade. And I said, Mister, you hired a truck driver, not a ditch digger. I don't know if I did the right thing or not. I'd have probably been more willing if he made me feel like I was a part of a team other than just some hired flunky laborer. If you want anybody to perform, you got to treat them like a human. I had a manager one time tell me he said, people don't quit their jobs, they quit their bosses. Anyway, what else we got? Here's another ad. Headline, I do it all. Okay. Professional. Oh, professional painting, remodeling, roof repairs, decks, concrete walkways. Anyway, 37 years. Call Jerry. All right. General employment. Antique. Wizard of Oz memorabilia. Firewood. Hey, new water pump, 15-inch mounted trailer tire, trailer bulk tank, blue tank, electric trailer, refrigerator. Sounds like one of them food deals. Small, efficient home for rent, $1,200. I remember my first mortgage was $385. And I struggled to make it too. Had a fellow one time. He was wealthy. I don't know if y'all know the difference between rich and wealthy. But this fellow was wealthy. And he told me, he said, son, it ain't a matter how much you make. It's a matter how much you keep. There's a lot of things out there fighting to keep you from your money. And money is the reality of it is money is a tool of barter. You exchange a portion of your life for money. And you take that money and you exchange it for a portion of a multitude of people's lives. And the conflict most people have is the salesman, middleman, all the people who bring those things to you. Now remember, you buy an automobile, you got people making tires, brake assemblies, seats, gas tanks, engines. All these people's making some. Then it gets distributed, bought, shared, make a profit. And everything is based on labor, except for mining and farming. Well, to an extent. I guess the battle is, are we given an appropriate amount of our life in exchange for those things that others tell us we need to have to be happy? If you want a Maserati, baby, go get it. Work yourself to a frazzle. Tell anybody anything they want to hear to get that money, get that car. Get it. Is that wealthy or rich? Oh, got about 13 more minutes. Dragging it out. Went from humor to philosophy to philosophy. I don't know if my daggum chat is working. I better do a test 3 because I don't see anybody but test 1 and test 2 on it. Let's see what we get. Well, it's working. We was talking about some of this old philosophical stuff. Whoever in the hell that guy is. Somebody give me a book. And I've gotten it down several times over the years. But this dude is so smart and his language is so concise. If I read one of his essays, it kind of freaks me out. Happens every time I have to do a self-assessment. Hang on. What? 1 minute. I, I'll share it with you. This is Ralph Waldo Emerson. Let's see. And this came from the free books at St. Simon's Public Library. And that's on St. Simon's and Island in Georgia. Let's see if they got a date in it. Nope. This thing's old. I need to figure out who it is. I think this Ralph Waldo Emerson existed around the period of time of Revolutionary War. And the reason I say that is because these are essays. They got the first series, second series, and then some other stuff in here. But anyway, I read his essay the history. And then the next essay is self-reliance. Could you imagine you having to be absolutely self-reliant today? I heard somebody telling the story about, I think it was Mike Slater, a great guy. He got a radio show on Sirius XM, and I think he has a podcast, is something politics and religion. I've not heard that, but I get his flavor, and I like it. Talked about the Pilgrims when they came here. Was it? Yeah. They got lost. They were going to Jamestown. Instead, ended in Plymouth Rock. Now, I believe Jamestown ended up being a failed colony, and Plymouth Rock flourished. But man, when they got here, they couldn't get off the boat. They were stranded in the winter on the boat. They didn't get a chance to do any prep for food. They did exploration and found a river or something. It's an interesting story. Half of them died, I think. All for the opportunity. Hell, we won't get off the couch for an opportunity. What? Go make how much? Shit, my mama get that for me. I have a daughter. She was in teen years, 13, 14, that crazy period. And her mama couldn't do nothing. She's my child. But she came via marriage. And her mama couldn't do nothing with it. When you're a stepdad, I figured the best thing to do is just let mama deal with them children. If she needs, she called me. She got to that point. And set my daughter down. I said, now I need you to listen to me. And I took a piece of sticky note. I'm a sticky note dude. And I drew a line right down the middle. And on one side, I put parental responsibility. On the other side, I put privilege. And I went down the parental responsibility side: food, clothing, shelter, education, medical care. All those things just went. On the other side, put privilege. Back then, it was the Game Boy, the TV console, smartphones were just coming out, going out with her friends. All that stuff went into the privilege side. And then there was responsibilities. And I let her mother create that. You know, help with the dishes, keep your room clean, blah, 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 blah. Whatever it was. Laundry. It was in that. Um, it, it was responsible parenting. What we have to do, what their responsibility is, and then the privileges. And I told her, I said, there's only certain things that we are responsible for. Absolutely. And I went down the list. And I said, all these over here are privileges. All these other items, responsibility, bathroom, kitchen, laundry, I don't know. All these responsibilities bring you the rewards, everything that's on this side. And I told her, the only way to maintain these privileges is to maintain your responsibilities. You will receive the necessities. And if you perform your responsibilities, then you will receive your rewards. That's the way it works. If you want to keep all this stuff that you think makes you happy, you're going to have to be responsible for these items. Now, I'm proud of her. Okay? Tough. Anyway, how much more time? 3 minutes. Anyway, Rabun County Rag. I'm going to call it the Chew. Once again, just to form a community. If you're local to me, that's great. We can share things that help each other, sharing of skill sets, resources, trade, work for whatever. And if you're not, and you're in another part of the country or region, we can have relationships here, or we can have relationships there. We can join yours and catch up on what you guys do. It's like getting news from another part of the country, not filtered by anybody, no agenda, just reports of what's happening on the ground. Now, the reporter may have an agenda, and we have to do our due diligence and determine what the issue is, be it moral or disaster relief or anything like that. But that's the objective. So I appreciate anybody who watches this in the future. And the idea is to be here on Thursday nights from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. And the forum is open if we want to talk about hunting and fishing, or if we want to talk maybe some local politics, or if we want to talk about the weather. or if we want to talk about the planting seasons, if we need resources, if we need skills, if we need training on something, we can get together, hook up, and share. And I know there's a lot of resources out there, but I always felt when I used to drive, I got 1 minute. When I used to be a salesman and when I was a truck driver, one of the most enjoyable things was driving down the back roads and hearing a small radio station, a voice in the community. And I got to know some of those communities by listening to that radio show. And I think that's what we need to get back to. We so many people spend so much time and effort dividing us when we have so much in common. We're an amazing people. We live in a country that offers us freedom, but we have to make sure we defend that freedom through our vote. Anyway, that's what we tend to do. I'm stopping the string. Thanks, guys.